and welcome to yet another edition of Tea with the Duchess with your favorite hostess, me, the Duchess. And I've got yet another amazing, yes, I said it again, amazing guest with me today by the name of Ayotunde, Mr. Twitch, whose surname I've been struggling to pronounce, but I'll get him to say it for you. So, welcome.
Thank you very much. My name is Ayotunde Fabamwo, so that's the pronunciation of my surname.
Fabamwo. Okay. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Yeah.
It's quite easy.
So, I know you do so much. I know you are one of the organizers of Mr. Africa International, and we did have your winner earlier on, and you also organize Mr. Ideal Nigeria, and then you also organize a team pageant for girls in Nigeria as well. And on top of that, you are also a publisher of 2 different magazines. Wow, how do you get to do so much?
Well, I think, let's just say I wanted to make a difference among my peers, among the youth in Africa and all that. And that's why every one of my platforms is sort of an open door to that. So when we talk about the Mr. Africa International, that's sort of the international platform that I have. And every year we have African representatives from different countries come to compete. And the sole purpose is to encourage young entrepreneurs in Africa. And the same objective is for the Mr. Ideal Nigeria, because the Mr. Ideal Nigeria winner also starts his own business. Now, when you come to the teen pageant, we actually have the 2 versions. We have the female part and the male part. The female part is called the Miss Omalewa Teen Pageant, and the male part is the Mr. Teen Nigeria. And what they do basically is the ambassadors of the Creativity Over Crime initiative, and that's just trying to have the youth utilize their talents to be sort of good ambassadors of the country. So, and when we talk about the magazines as well, we have the Ultimate Fitness magazine, which is sort of gearing African people and black people to sort of stay very fit and the right food and the right exercise for our race. And also when you talk about the Posh Naija magazine, it's sort of the best event magazine in Nigeria. So yeah, that's sort of what I'm into at the moment.
Wow. I know how old you are. I don't know whether you want me to actually say that. Yeah. So, how are you able to, or how were you able to achieve so much at such a young age?
From a very young age, I've been taught by my mom that it's important to grow up in life and help make a difference in the world. And she always said to me, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can always make a difference. And I started when I was 20. I started with the Miss Omalewa Teen Pageant and a Love of a Child initiative. And that's just how I started. And one thing led to the other, and other things started getting added on. I love to take risks. I love to push myself, because I believe that to be the best that you can be, you really need to push yourself, and that's basically what I love to do. And to be an inspiration to other young people as myself, I need to be sort of an example. So age really to me is, like they say, it's just a number. I work really hard to let everyone know that no matter how old you are, you can actually make a difference in the world, because success really isn't about the amount of money you have. It's about the doors you create for other people to be a success as well.
Before you mentioned that money is not everything, I was going to ask you how. I know it's quite challenging to be able to do all this, because sometimes you have an idea and it's so difficult for you to convince other people to invest in that idea. So what has been your challenge so far in setting up and doing what you're doing at the moment?
Most of the platforms that I have, the magazine, the pageants, the events, they're meant to run solely on sponsorship and funds. But as a young person coming up, that was very difficult for me, and my partners as well, like Ajibola. But what we tried to do is we came up with ideas that would sort of generate funds internally, and we keep the numbers right. Lately, especially with the Mr. Ideal Nigeria, we've been getting sponsorship and all that, and they base the sponsorship on trust of the numbers that we've sort of had in the past. So that's what we do. But that's why I always tell young people that I meet that they never really depend on sponsorship initially. try to come up with ideas that would raise funds internally. It doesn't have to be your personal money, but there are different ways to actually come up with money or raise funds to actually push your dreams. So you don't have to, because once you wait for sponsorship, there are many friends of mine that want to have events similar to mine, but they keep waiting for sponsorship. But it's really difficult to have sponsorship. So you need to sort of take a step towards your dreams, and everything else will get added onto it. It's just like planting a seed. When you put a seed, in the ground and all that, all you have to do is water it. You don't have to nurse it all the time, and it draws on resources of its own. So when you start a dream, it draws on resources of its own, and it sort of just blows up, and other things get added to it.
You actually made quite a lot of sense. Okay, so let's talk about this pageant. I don't know. Do you call it the male contest? Do you call it a pageant? I don't know.
I personally don't call it a pageant. I call it a male competition, because I believe pageant is for women, really.
Yeah.
So I call it. I don't call it a male pageant. I call it a male competition.
I was just trying to clarify that. But I've seen, I've gone on the internet and I looked at some of the past contestants, and I'm looking at some of the new people that are actually coming forward. And I must say, Nigeria does have quite a lot of good-looking men.
Yeah, we do. It's a niche that hasn't been explored fully. We've had sort of different competitions before mine, but they weren't maximized. So it's more of the House of Twitch giving young men an opportunity to shine. But Mr. Ideal Nigeria really isn't about the beauty alone. It's about entrepreneurship. So at the end of the day, we're not looking for someone with just the body. We're looking for someone that is a role model. So it's a perfect, or I call it a unique combination of a business sense and a fit body tone. So for the fit body tone, obviously, is to keep the active lifestyle. It doesn't have to be overly henched or anything like, people just assume that, Mr. Ideal Nigeria has to be overly henched. It doesn't necessarily mean. It's just a unique combination of both. So it's more about entrepreneurship more than anything else.
So tell us about the House of Twitch. Because when I first heard the name, I actually thought like it was like a fashion house.
A lot of people think that as well.
So can you tell us how you started, when you started, and what you've got planned for House of Twitch going forward?
Okay. The House of Twitch started fully when I was 20. I think that was 2006. And basically, it's an event management company. That's what we do. And 2 years ago, we added the magazines to it. So, so it's more of an event management, modeling, and magazines. That's the three key areas that we have. And of course, we have the Mr. Africa International, the Mr. Ideal Nigeria, Mr. Malawa, Miss Tina, the magazines as well. So that's sort of what the House of Twitch is all about. Moving forward, what we're trying to do is sort of be an inspiration to the young Africans. So every platform that we get in the future to be able to do that is what we're going to tap into. So yeah, pretty much that's what the House of Twitch is all about, making a difference.
Okay, so what have you guys been able to achieve so far? I know you mentioned about the entrepreneurship with the young people, empowering them to positivity. So what have you been able to achieve with your winners so far?
Okay, I'm going to break it down with the winners and what they've done. With the Mr. Africa International, the current winner, the first winner, is Adonis Oholi from Sierra Leone, and he's currently working with a clothing line called 929. And basically, what we're trying to do with 99 is it's a new African sort of label, and it's shirts with inspirational words. So we're raising money for 99 and also pushing the T-shirts as well. That's what we do, because Mr. Africa is meant to raise funds for small-scale businesses. Now, when it comes to Mr. Ideal Nigeria, we've been with Mr. Ideal Nigeria for about 3 years now, and each one of the winners has started his own business. So we have the first winner, Wale Bello. He's started his own gym on the island. We have the 2011, Ayo Ajiboye, and he has his own clothing line called Clips. And we also have the current winner, Abayomi, who has a perfume line called Ideal. So every one of the Mr. Ideal Nigeria winners starts his own business. That's the primary purpose. Now, when you go to Miss Omalewa, there's basically just charity. So we've worked with different charities like the Women Trafficking and Child Labor Eradication Foundation. We've worked with Lifting Our Community, and we've worked with Kids to Teens. And this year, we're currently working with Project Friendship, raising money for the kids that were affected by the Boko Haram bombings in the north of Nigeria. So it's a lot of hard work, especially when you're working with winners that are under the age of 18 in regards to Miss Omalewa and having them to raise. But they're always very excited because at the end of the day, we groom them to be better ambassadors, and the year they have is always amazing. Touching people's lives is the best thing that can happen to someone, and every one of our platforms is actually geared towards making people better than they are. So.
Wow, that's quite interesting. So how do you get your contestants? How do you get people to apply?
Yeah, for the Miss Omalewa, we have an audition in Lagos and Port Harcourt. So those are the two key areas. But for the Mr. Ideal is a lot bigger than, Mr. Omalewa in the sense that it's for young adults. So for the Mr. Ideal, at the moment, we have 17 state pageants. So each pageant sends the winner of the state to the finals. As aside Lagos and Abuja, which actually select the other 16 contestants, 16 state finalists, because at the moment we can't really penetrate the north. So the contestants of the north come from Lagos and Abuja auditions. So that's sort of how that's why the Mr. Ideal Nigeria is the best male competition in Nigeria at the moment, because it's really tough, because you have the best of each state coming to compete, and there's just one spot, so they all have to put their best foot forward. So it's pretty amazing. It pretty is amazing. And for the Mr. Africa International, we have, so for example, the Mr. Ideal Nigeria represents Nigeria, the Mr. Africa International, Mr. Angola. So we have the winners of African countries come to represent. Also, in addition to the Mr. Africa International 2013, we're going to be having winners of African communities in Western countries. For example, we're going to be having the Mr. Africa USA. So it's going to be representing the USA at the Mr. Africa, and the Mr. Africa Ireland, and Mr. Africa Great Britain. So it's sort of given African men the opportunity to make a difference in the world.
Okay, so I was just going to ask you, what would be your advice for someone who wants to go into what you're doing? Because obviously people are going to be watching and be thinking, wow, this is very inspirational, what you're doing. So what would you say to someone who wants to follow in your footsteps?
I would say that you shouldn't be afraid of starting small. Every big thing starts from being very small, and it kind of builds up to that. Once you have a dream, take a step towards it. Don't let anyone discourage you. Once you start, the dream would actually draw on resources on its own. So you just have to go ahead and start. And also, God is an important factor in dreams, because He uses His strength every day to work harder and harder, and He brings the right people across your path to help you. Like I met Duchess during the Mr. Africa International 2012, and she was amazing. And she helped me a lot. So just starting small, never be afraid to start small, and everything's just going to be amazing.
I heard you say amazing. Do you know what? Yeah, it's so funny, because now when people say amazing to me, I don't know whether they're taking a piss or they actually think I'm amazing. So which one is it now?
Amazing. It's gonna be amazing. You're amazing. So.
Oh, thank you for joining me today. Yeah, although we're kind of like, we're trying to be healthy today, so there's no cakes.
I was really looking forward to the voice line.
Okay. So thank you very much. Yeah, and then good luck in everything. I know you've got so much planned this year, so I wish you good luck, and just let us know. We'll probably come and cover your events, do some backstage, everything. Definitely. All right, thank you very much. That's all from us today, and I want to say a massive thank you to our guest, Mr. Ayotunde Twitch, and thank you for taking out time to come and spend with us today. And also a massive thank you to Brian Wood Photographer, where you can actually see the pictures of all our guests, www.brianwoodphotographer.com, and also coming brianwood.com, which will be coming up soon. That would actually help people who cannot spell photographer. Well, I'm just being funny. But anyway, thank you very much for being with us today. And I want to say a massive thank you to Blooming Scent Cafe, where we actually filmed today in Benny Grant Center. So whatever you're doing, keep checking us out on www.duchesstv.com. Next time. Bye.